this so that I'm nearby. All right, you're live. Great. All right. All right. So let me pull up at the beginning of each time. You're supposed to you have a event you have to say.
The spiel.
The spiel. Where are you? All right. Thank you for joining us today. We're here thanks to Techlahoma, our volunteers, and our speakers. Techlahoma is a nonprofit volunteer-run organization that puts on 39 groups, 2 conferences, and sponsors free local events. We do this to support our mission to advance the grassroots tech community of Oklahoma. Learn more at techlahoma.org. And then our current spot is 36 Degrees North. And 36 Degrees North donates the space for us to meet. They also offer free workshops, as well as co-working desks and offices for a monthly fee. You can find more info at the front desk. So Techlahoma has big events coming up this year, and it was like 200 OK and stuff like that. I highly recommend checking them out, but also actually go to the Techlahoma website because there might be, like you're doing a bunch of other tech. There's tons of other groups, like WebDev is a really popular one. Like, what are you using any certain languages or anything?
I'm just using Python mostly.
There's a Python group that makes up and stuff like that. No art groups yet. We're working on it. That's my goal, is we'll get art people. I run the Unreal, but have you ever been to another Techlahoma group?
I haven't, not yet.
All right. Well, I recommend check out techlahoma.org. And if you might find other people, and if you're like, hey, I want to go to Oklahoma City for the weekend or whatever, they also have a bunch of groups over there that do stuff. And Oklahoma Game Devs is over there also. And they're from the OKC. So that is the main intro. There is no theme for this month. It just kind of went about, but there are prizes. So you got some Valentines because it's that month. So you got some ish candy and a magnet, Ninja Turtle magnet. All right, so so I'm gonna do sad news and then we'll move on to fun stuff. All right, CSGC, the big conference, has officially been canceled and put behind in the past. I don't know what else to say. So it was my favorite big event to look forward to of the year. Everyone would get together and show up all their stuff. They put a ton of effort into it, but we kept having this issue where people wouldn't show up. So it just got worse and worse. And then last year was this huge year where there was like 3 people showing off something to every like 1 person that would show up. And so, I mean, it wasn't like that terrible, but it felt that way of like so many people put so much effort into it and then it wasn't getting the recognition it deserved. So I'm hoping to do something new, but also Professor Akram is the one who put it on, and then she put in a ton of effort and deserves to be applauded. And she also, not just like the game industry in Tulsa, but like everywhere at TU, she's like pushed the game industry forward. So like she's really cool, and I hope she goes on to do other cool things that gets recognized. So, but fun news, they just hosted Game Jam, and we did that. So pretty much everyone except you 2 participated. Post Game Jam, do you guys have any like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known this things? I'm gonna shut up and let one of you guys go into it. Is there anything you wish you would have known?
I wish I would have practiced more.
What exactly do you wish you practiced?
Well, like, I guess like my art skills, because I started practicing like 2 weeks before,
Mhm.
and then I broke my iPad, so I was down like 2 days.
Ooh. That's terrifying. What? But I mean, you knew your software going in, right?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay. Yeah. There's Alvaro.
Well, I practiced with it for like those 2 weeks, but
Do you still feel like the project turned out good though?
yeah, I feel like it turned out well.
Good. Right. What about any of you guys? Any thoughts post Game Jam that you're like, man, this was great, or this was awful, or?
I mean, it was overall great.
Mhm.
I mean, just the sheer process of being able to have that stress on you
Mhm.
to get things done. and then look at your code afterward and be like, my God, what did I do?
Dude, okay. Every file management, project management, anything, I threw it. Everything was in one folder. And then it got to the point that I was like, okay, I need to do a second folder for this newer stuff. Like, like I would have hit someone if it was an actual project. I'm like, no, you can't do this. So I did not practice good organizational skills on this one, but nothing like, it was more for speed. Since everything was in one panel, I was like, okay, it's right here.
Yeah, I was under the impression organizational skills were good for like continued projects, or if it's a game jam, it's like just get it done.
Yeah.
And it's done, and there it is.
Yeah.
You go home.
And
Yeah,
there's
that's okay.
still, well, because how many people are on your team?
So we have 5 people total. 3 technically were musicians, and then the rest of us were just did 90% of the work. So
Now, Dave isn't here, but we switched off. We were like, because we knew we would run into issues of like, oh, you try and commit this, I do that, it'll screw up. So I was like, no, if you want to do something, put it on your computer or come over to my computer. We just shared one computer, and that eliminated it. So we had no conflicts whatsoever because of that.
that's
Yeah, but we knew going into it.
Mm.
What about you guys? Any post game jam? Make me laugh? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I thought it was make it funny for a second. I was like, no, that wasn't it. Make me laugh.
honestly, I wish it was more generic, like the last couple game jams we had, because then it could be left for interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like when you just have make me laugh, I'm just like, okay, well, that's just a solid tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a comedian, so that was the worst part about it.
That's what your 3 musicians are for.
That is true, actually. That was the best part.
About Aaron, man, or
I'm just kind of glad I did it and got the flow because I mean, I'd never made a game in that time span before. So just kind of challenging myself to do that and realizing like Saturday night, I was like, oh man, I'm fucked. And then Sunday morning being like, oh wait, I'm fine. Like understanding how the things go start to finish that quickly. I was like, okay, I feel good. I was like, I gotta have 1 level. And yeah, I got 3 and I put in a bonus feature. Cool. I was just, man. But you should have seen me Saturday, like before I went up there to have people play test it. I was like, I just got to figure out how to tickle a pickle. That was my game mechanic. Tickle pickling.
What was the game about?
Tickle pickles. You're the tickler. You go to a grocery store and you tickle all the pickles. You collect all the nickels. But man, Saturday night I had the nickel collecting down because I was like, I know how to pick up a coin. I could put that in real quick, but I couldn't figure out. I was originally going to like a dig dug thing where you grab them and then you like inflate them. But I was like, well, maybe I'll leave pickle inflation out of it. So we'll just do straight up just hitbox tickle dead. So everything ended up being simpler than I wanted it, but I kind of knew that going in, just hear it, that like, just go down and down. So, but I was surprised by the end of it. I was like, oh wait, I've got time. A couple more knuckles and put in the golden nickel. And, it's great.
I feel like you got humor and programming and all of that down. Like I feel like it got all of that across.
Thanks.
I was too worried on mine. It looks great. She did the art and it looks great, but I don't feel like I got humor across. I was too well, I'm not actually a good programmer. So I jumped in. I was like, no, I need to like face my fears on this. And yeah, I should have done way better. But like if Elliot was programmer, everything gets done really fast and we would have been able to do, I think we would have made a funnier game that way, but I'm glad I got out of my comfort zone and was like, no, don't be a baby, be a grown up. So I got that out of it. Next year.
Yeah, this game jam went great.
Yep. What about you, Krista? You got anything?
I think we wouldn't have had as many issues with the animation if we would have just done it as 3D.
Mm-hmm.
But that wouldn't have been super easy either, especially since I wouldn't have been able to actually to you.
Right. I feel like that's the bigger experience is like being there in person. What about you, Chessman? Post game jam, any thoughts? What
Yeah.
feelings?
It was great.
Yeah.
The team did fantastic and made a great game out of it.
So I have a question for you personally on it. So normally you're making a game with how many people alone, and then you had a team of how many? Okay, so what was the noticeable differences in like learning pains, growing pains, I guess. Get. Oh God, yeah.
That was about it, I guess. The syncing was the most difficult part. Otherwise, the artist just submitted stuff and I just put it in the game as if I made it my own. And yeah, I just delegated the tasks where we each had our own specific roles and parts. So
What was the breakup of the team? Because yeah,
okay, you're probably gonna laugh. So we had a junior programmer who had a little bit of experience. Then we had me, and then we had Philip, who was also an experienced programmer. So I set Philip on the intro, the main menu, and the boss level. And then I was setting up the assets for the rest of the game. And then the junior programmer, he said he had experience with Mario Maker. So I'm like, okay, here's what a tile map is. And then like, here's how you put stuff in the game and stuff. And he did a great job of that. Then I had our 2D artist right here, Robin. What?
Sorry, there's a problem with the connection right now.
And then we had another 2D artist. And then we had an English teacher. And then we had a 10-year-old. And the mom and dad of them, which most of them ended up being also 2D artists. So needless to say, they made a lot of 2D art that we were able to implement. So Philip here constructed the main menu, the intro, and the boss level, which all look great as well. And since we all worked on our own separate scenes, there wasn't too many conflicts. But with all those 2D artists, they surprisingly were able to keep a relatively similar style to it. Well, the 10-year-old was just bouncing all over the place, but he helped pretty good.
Audio equipment.
Yeah, he was a main audio guy, but he did not like doing it.
I liked his sound effects were great though.
No, they were great,
Yeah.
yeah, but we had to keep like, yo, we need like more than 2 sounds. You want to go growl into the microphone a little bit? He's like, no, I don't want to. I want to program or something. And I'm like, yeah, I can teach you how to make this level transition. I literally just added it into the game. And every 5 minutes, he wanted me to upload it to
He wanted
he wanted to build, he wanted to play it, and then he'd find a bug and he'd get mad at it. I'm like,
I mean, he's not approaching it the wrong way,
no,
but there's a
this is too emotional.
yeah.
No, he was great to have on the team. He was very motivating as well.
See, I always look at it as the code isn't doing what you want. I never look at it as the programmer's doing something wrong. So like that's my go-to.
He got very mad at the game.
Yeah.
More of the director.
Yeah.
He was the slave owner. Like, he was whipping us the entire time. He's like, "Where's my next bill? I want to play it."
All right, Phil or Elliot, we're talking. You just came in post game jam. Any thoughts or things you wish would have done different, or things you're really glad you did? Anything. Doesn't matter. You want to.
I never realized in my time at school how blessed I was to work with people who were familiar with Git. Our level designer, he was good enough that he could push and update from main, no problems, but he would push and think that that was completing the merge and the pull request. And so I found myself behind the scenes going ahead and merging that in. All right, go ahead and update again. Cool. And there's one of those things where I know I can explain that local and your remote are separate and your branches are separate and your branches on your local and remote are also separate. I don't know how else to explain all of that though. And so teaching for GitHub is something I know that I can grow from there. Beyond that, like you said, going through the whole project as a whole, keeping it separate. One of the things I noticed really early on, besides the GitHub stuff, was how differently Chavez and I solve problems software-wise and code-wise. And it's something I've got now on my to-do list of looking back through the GitHub and just seeing, okay, how would I build it? How did he build it? Where are we doing the same things? Where are we doing different things? And how do they differ big picture, not just in how we approached it? Looking forward to looking into that more, kind of thinking on that. Beyond that,
We learned not to choose WebGL, that's for sure.
yeah, the constant reminder that WebGL does not behave the same way as the editor and it does not behave the same way as a normal build. And it's something you have to, if you're targeting, almost make the exclusive thing you're targeting so that when you build anything, you can see it's going to have the most problems.
Yeah.
Fix all of those, everything else will be fine. But
Do you think that's because there was multiple tabs open, like multiple games were open?
quite
That
possible, the more games open, it could cause.
My hypothesis is that we've written a lot of stuff on the update function, because of time restraints and the multiple tabs plus the crappy internet there. The updates were probably all over the place. The frame rate was probably high and low. Some stuff that relied on that would malfunction, especially the meteorites, which were alert function. That's all they were. They're supposed to go down, and when they got close enough to the ground, they should explode. But when she played it on screen, sometimes they would just like stagger or do some weird stuff. And like, there's no explanation.
Fixed update would have solved a lot of it. Yeah.
well, Elliot, you were on 2 projects.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't do a good job communicating that I was willing to do music for multiple teams because nobody came and asked me for music. So yeah. But if I just announced at the beginning, I'm here to do music, that would just sort of happen organically. But I don't think I made enough of a big deal about it.
So are you getting a sign for next year? Being like, this is what I'm doing?
I don't know. I might not do that again next year. I might try something different.
The next year, I know we're not supposed to go into it, but Elliot and I talked privately. I'm gonna bring this up. Do you guys know what a full motion video is or an FMV? Do you want to explain it, Elliot?
So like back in the 90s, there were a bunch of games that were interactive movies, basically, where you'd watch a little cutscene and then there'd be like a point where you'd have to decide what to do next. So that was, fad that came and went. I mean, people still do it, but it's not as popular as it was back then. So Daniel and I have talked about doing an FMV for Game Jam.
2 years now.
So you guys talking about this last time.
Yeah.
I would be down.
Yeah,
I
so
used
it's
to do a lot of like filmmaker stuff with my DSLRs and shit.
right. Well, it's half 48-hour film and half game jam. It's like the crossroads.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
And so
So I guess the note to make there, and I think we encountered this when we used videos in our last one, is Git and large files don't get along well.
No.
Or GitHub, I should say. Git
True.
probably works fine with it. I know GitLFS exists, but actually hosting it is more expensive. So you gotta think about that, or just use one computer.
I think it would
and
be
then,
one
I
computer.
guess compress it really well.
Yeah.
You just need a lot of videographers, I would think.
See, I got all the camera, and we got Aaron's got that,
Yeah, because the input and
but also actors.
Yeah, I feel like Game Jam is perfect for that.
Yeah.
Because you're there and you're just like, you want to be an extra in this thing?
Yeah.
And they're on a tap, great,
So I'm laying the groundwork. That's what next year's theme, no matter what, is FMV, and then whatever the theme is.
I feel like that would have been great for this year.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get out of my comfort zone and do something new this year, so like I screwed that up. And thank you, Elliot, for. I asked Elliot. I was like, I'm gonna be overwhelmed, and I wasn't really. I mean, like I kind of wasn't, but it also was. But I was like, can you be like ready just in case? And you were like, yeah, sure. And then nothing happened.
Well, it sounded like you got overwhelmed during portions when I wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's this windshield wiper, and understanding how to get GIFs working in Unreal, that it doesn't happen. Which I guess also Unity has other weird issues. And I thought you would just make a sprite sheet, but what we were doing is you can do it that way if it's a sprite itself. But if you want it to be in UMG, where the Unreal Motion graphics, where it's actually like part of a menu or something like that, which is what I was using, it gets mad and you have to do it a whole different way. And then there was a bunch of other weird little tiny technical stuff that I didn't figure out until Elliot was like, oh, what if you tried this? And I was like, that's the answer.
Yeah, it was in Urban Entrepreneur, my title screen that, the guys running around background, they're actually on a queue. I don't know why I had to have it on a queue,
Mhm.
but a 2D and then a UI just didn't play it for some reason.
Right.
We're also under pressure.
Mhm.
Game jam weekends here, you're already, not you specifically, but in general, people are not thinking clearly because of the time pressure.
Right.
Wouldn't be too hard on yourself.
And so, yeah, I got all that figured out. We have two things. So Alvaro and I have been working on Fate Spinner for 2 years now. It's been that long.
Has it?
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
Since we did the wooden board, it was like, it feels like that.
Sorry.
But I got Valentine's for everyone. So who hasn't gotten one? You got you two yet?
Is the Fate Spinner on time?
No, there's a
Thank you.
Oh, these are two separate things. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Daniel just fell in love for me. I've done pizza.
All right. So is anyone, before we jump into those Fate Spinners, anyone working on something and stuck on something? And you're like, I came for help.
I could tap the pool of knowledge that is this group. I just started working on a level that I built a long time ago that has like 14 million lights in it. It's like, that's an exaggeration, but point is my FPS is like 11, when I'm running it. And I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I have a level that has quite a few lights? Because I want it for the ambience. Really make that like 20 or something. But that doesn't crash my FPS as much. I know it's the lights because that's the only thing I can turn off that my FPS is like 20 again.
How many of them are real time?
They're like all real time, but I don't know how to get the effect of like shadow cast.
Is it indoor or outdoor?
It's an indoor seat.
Should be able to just bake the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I, for some reason, if I bake them, like I'm trying to get like overlight, you walk in and you get the shadows kind of effect. And I was like, well, okay, I'll limit it to like only 5 of them do that, so that there's not like a whole bunch of shadows being done. And there's still the FPS.
Did you pull it up?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Have you ever the dynamic conclusion yet?
Yeah. I went through and made sure that that was checked on. I did make sure that that was checked on in the beginning of the project.
Yeah, and it was working perfectly, and you saw the camera phasing stuff out.
Yeah. I take a second pop off, so go to somebody else.
Do what?
Have you heard what they're doing with Unity 6?
You know, it's
What
just,
are they doing?
make
Subscription
subscriptions
only
right.
games. It's kind of amazing.
I was going to say, it better be good. GDC's next month. So they're going to show something off.
It's just graphic lights.
Yeah, because I have a directional light in there too, just to
Think
kind
about
of
it
like,
from
but
reflection.
because of the scenery.
They're now making it towards dynamic reflection.
reflection.
So it's generated automatically. So you can have this massive scene with really nice lighting and reflections without it taking up a lot of points. And they're also including AI to be able to allow you to have a larger, I guess you could say, a larger scene with a lot more polys that doesn't take up as much data, sort of like with Unreal.
Yeah.
What they're doing.
Nano sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's.
But like their version
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're making advances,
Good.
especially since they gained access to using wedded technologies, which is super amazing.
Mhm.
It's just awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of new things that are coming that are just.
Aren't they already selling off their Weta side?
I don't know if they're selling it off or if they just implemented stuff that they took from Weta, and then they're just.
We stole your technology. Goodbye.
Well, they bought it because I don't know. It seemed weird.
Well, and then of course with Muse, which there's only one thing I like about Muse so far. It's the texture generator.
Yeah, but how do
I don't care so much about the sprite generator.
Like if
I think that's
close,
wacky in comparison,
but
but
yeah.
for you to be able to create procedural PBR textures, absolutely amazing.
Is that just in the editor or is it?
It's in the editor. So you can create any sort of PBR texture. You can pull in the pattern, you can create the pattern. You can have some match. It's almost like Substance,
Yeah, I was gonna say the bitmaps material or whatever. Yeah.
but it's like you can just generate it through AI.
Right.
So that combined with Node
With shader graph.
shader graph.
Yes.
Or that's.
And they also have the VFX
Who are the-
as well.
Who are the Unity people that can help Aaron? It's not me.
but it's
It
minimal.
depends on how bad
I
it
feel
is.
like you guys know better than we do.
Depends on how bad.
I've shot everything. I haven't done lights in a while.
I'm also really dumb, so assume that I know nothing, because I probably do. It's gonna take-
looked at the profile?
Okay, so you'll have to tell me what you mean by that. I'm really dumb.
So right. Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, it could not be the lighting at all.
Well, that's where our usages are and starting to.
Yeah, I
I didn't
just
know
like
that.
that down.
I was just using the stats or whatever, and I was looking at that.
Okay, so it seems like it was doing it here. See how it started lights.
Right.
If you look
Yeah.
6-1 would also be dynamic, you could big these, but that one would have to. If they're so close, they have to,
A lot of scenes there.
they can have so many.
Right.
to Do it, and you can do that, and then you break it down.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something.
Because I know there's like a big budget.
Runs.
You have to-
They actually, they have a starter in this.
I genuinely feel like this is a key to
Just tell them what it's all.
All right, let's see.
Get it wrong.
Yeah, that's about what I expected.
Yeah, there you go. You can just double click on game there.
Or just go ahead and pause at the top. Or just take off next.
There we go. I don't do that on this thing, so now I'm more trying to see what card, where the maximum we can get. Um,
We already, yes.
Yes,
Yeah, it's at 15 FPS. These fives right here.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't done any optimizing at all, I just. Let's count the lights. This is an older build, so this is before I did any optimizing, but it's still. Look at all those bad boys. Right now, they are all real time, so that's, I mean.
Why are they all?
Can you rotate the player?
Not actually able to see right now. I don't know if I think that you did. I can do that and then run the hospital.
Yeah, I was just gonna see if that had a conclusion to how they got. Because if it is, you see spikes. Yeah.
So there you go. Why doesn't this drag over?
We need tips or tricks from the other developers, shadows and fake shadows.
Someone why they. I remember when Bill was just like having a.
Yeah, I remember pre-baking, I remember how to pre-bake. But I remember that was the thing they taught us and said, this is important.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah, you're indoors. Do you have a goal distance?
Oh, I don't know. Is that something you set on the lights or in the line?
So I don't get where it is.
There's a camera number 0 and 4.
Yeah. Because if you don't see very far inside the hospital, you need to have that open, yeah. Especially if you don't have lots of long hallways.
Feel like I was
It's kind of limited to all that ball screen. Yeah.
This.
I don't think you should get to my main area either.
Let's, check this, see what performance in a build versus performance in the.
No, you said you were lagging in build, didn't you? I think they're erased.
It does like it build, yeah, I could pull up the latest build I have.
If it doesn't involve, then it's not.
Wow, yeah, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, look toward, there's nothing past this wall right here, right?
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, look right there first. So you're at 8 FPS and
And then turn around, it's
I'll just keep it stable.
okay, well,
Yeah, you do have a dynamic conclusion of
Yeah,
that a little bit, but.
Okay, let's,
What you see as far as static?
yeah, I haven't done any optimization in this version of the build, so like nothing's marked as static. But
Oh.
when I was doing that at home, it only gave me an extra 10 FPS.
That sounds like.
It's good. It's good. It's good. But like everything else is like on my PC at home. It's like my nice computer. It's like 20 FPS.
Stuff before making.
Mhm.
And that's what dynamic conclusion works on with the status issues. So yeah, static baking certain lights, bake what you can. That's not going to cause shadows at all.
Mhm.
Or if it's like close to something, so like Daniel was saying, right, if you have all, if we're in this room, you could probably at least afford to make like 4 of these lights static, and just like choose that one, and that one.
Yeah. Like
Mm.
four lights
It'll have
would
a
be perfect.
similar effect,
This should probably all be baked.
or just maybe one. Yeah, my thought is like, if you wanted to have like sharp shadows,
Yeah.
basically, and the effect was important, that would be.
Yeah, what type of shadows do you have in this game? You have soft.
These are soft. Yeah.
You could make it easier, but
I got hard shadows.
I mean, I think it'd work in this type of style too.
Honestly, I would think the shadows with a cooking spray.
Yeah, that's what I suggested.
But if I do no shadows at all, it does improve the FPS quite a bit, but it's still only at like 16. So I mean, the lights themselves are also a lot of this.
Yeah,
right?
it's.
First thing, you can also check the light. Oh, yeah.
I would do this, I would,
There's the box that is that you can do that after you do the calling main camera.
I would let's see if I would pick an engine and then pick an arcade game and just copy it.
And yeah, let's lower that to like 100.
The drivers.
You know, I think they have C# support. I was trying to get I was teaching my kids, trying to teach it to myself, where they had really good C# support. So I know they had it, said they supported it, but they're actually
Like, there it's a cinnamon thing,
So-
C-sharp. Yeah, you know, just
Do you know what languages do you know? You know?
See, just.
Okay.
I had to replace it to like controls default one and also so.
Yeah, I know it is. I've been doing some student making.
You know what college you also?
Which engine?
So this is an old version, so I yeah, some of these are like Google models. It over here has like 2006 for some reason. So I have cleaned all that up.
Yes.
Just thinking, Unreal's gonna have, if you're like dead set, like I had. It's not what they're gonna see, and then it's just that way. Like, cause I sometimes I'll be out there,
So I can also alter these, the walls, the floors, everything.
if that's how you want to set, right?
I mean,
Then you should probably try to.
Oh, again, this is all from a modular.
If that's not.
Okay, so they all-
Nice, right, walls or anything.
You can see that it's not gonna be.
I wanted to see if there's, if you roll into one overall, like
But
what part of the building.
any of them can't.
I want to see if the completion is saying.
But
Because that can really affect your performance.
Everything can be achieved.
Yeah.
And you can do it, it doesn't matter.
You said check.
The artist.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so if each one of these squares.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be total. You might have, which is gonna see a difference.
I thought because they were just like much like they would be that much.
Yeah, I mean, you know, box platter, it has, what is it?
So my recommendation is,
Six-sided.
if you're calling a game better, yes, it's to copy, like, going to read our games, and then copy those.
Go through and I'll play.
Yeah.
And go back up the game.
So, but it's easier if you go conjunction, so just, okay, you need to figure out how the build the.
I keep getting.
Thanks for you.
Good. That's hard for some.
For 6 hours. Just know how excited. Every type.
Right.
I have a little joke, there's no title, there's no red flags. It's just only. Something.
That are still real time now.
6 hours.
It'll have me try turning it on again.
Yeah.
This, I'm sure there'll be other ones, and the other sheets basically.
Oh, yeah, but
And it's amazing how time on time I'll be like, oh, this is better. I don't figure it out.
So- I
Oh,
would say, there's no stuff.
something was decided here, not the rest.
It's already, I'm gonna get the music too. Spawn these tiles. But also, it's Spawn one. It goes like 40 hours. So like, it was. So like, oh, typically it was 30 by 2 hours got in there, but 3 hours more. The entire map, that palace that's loaded, you know, it would be like, okay, yours would be like, I let's hear it.
Because you get it on, I'm not saying.
Save it, and it's like, look, you're saving us 1 tick.
All
All these blocks are saving us 1 tick.
Yeah, so you're using, so it's not.
California, save it.
Oh, I see.
File, do it as a free JSON file, and then.
Without cuts.
Actually, so it's, that's another knowledge just to be going into, it's not like the world exists.
Oh.
And they sort of.
Save
your
it.
location.
Even when you were young, it just, it was like, man, like, this is working.
Where does this come from?
Especially these things binary code, they're like. Oh, okay. Well, this is like.
Yeah.
It was sort of. Still, I mean. This person was, yeah, so, oh, yeah, actually, this was like a 20-year model. Okay,
Sure.
so it takes 5 minutes to add, change the scaling, look where it just goes, whatever. So it's about a half day, I'll read it, here's something else.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Read this. So it's from the game. So if someone wants to just, if you actually just have to add a new sprite and make that the same thing that I did the JSON file, and boom.
Well, like, that's where I turned on.
So all of the capabilities that an item can have to be present in every instance of.
Yeah, about 90% of that real.
Yeah, that's why I'm after
So you can't see those sorts of areas, right, wrong size.
Okay. I think I have a lot of places I can start your tinkering with things.
You can press it.
Give those numbers.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Every now and then I don't think what I just did.
You could teach a lot of those.
I think so. I think
That must be my hobby. It's still there. Must be running out.
So I think I'm gonna.
Well, yeah, I was self-taught and I was like through the website.
Right.
There's one right, you can get courses on there for like $50. And they're like.
So just do the best thing. That's really
Yeah, call a little bit. Does he know it? Let's get off that.
Yeah. Things like a traffic light, I guess. So I've got a lot of stuff.
Oh, next year.
Oh,
So
what's your
structure? Yes.
Oh, I mean, I'm turning
I'll
all
just
this
down.
down.
Well, to tell you how to do it.
If I turn on all the lights, Yeah, it's gonna go through and only have a couple of them be risked on that big rest. That's yeah, it's
Almost everything. That's why I don't like, but you have a bunch of things that don't want to small.
stuff like that. Yeah, but you-
Okay. Yeah, I know whenever I was making my VR game, I literally sat down and I'm like, okay, let's find a 10-minute video talking about optimizing your game and every single way to do it. And that's where I learned lots of the lighting and stuff I was spewing earlier.
Well,
I did make a conclusion and all that.
But what's deferred and forward rendering? What's the one VR does?
Just neutral the stuff that screens. Some of the stuff was from robot process.
No, it's like how it actually renders on a VR. Like that was, because it's the opposite of how you would do it on like consoles. Which is why like PlayStation, so it's deferred rendering, what was the name of this? Forward render. Anyways, one of them is really great for VR and the other one's not. And good luck. I figured that out the wrong bar.
I bought that camera thing for mine back then because I didn't know anything about that. So, and of course I needed something so my head popped into stuff because I couldn't figure out it either at the time. But through stuff even when I had computers to it. There's a big problem back in getting the transforms of the VR headset not being able to be found by other things. So
I remember also just like when you design in general, the headset being like difficult because you don't like if you move your body but you can't walk into the thing, it's like what do you do?
yeah, Unity will track your, as you said, the center of your play space. So you can move from your center,
Right.
or adjust your center to the head, and then everything moves with you, and that makes me move around.
Oh, yeah, where's your fake just to build a VR game?
You have the big nations.
Yeah, I got everything.
You'll have a physical manifestation that sits at the center of your player.
Right.
And you can walk through the walls. You can't get
So,
further away from the physical manifestation.
These
until you
exist.
Oh no. Do
That's
we have
rock, paper, scissors.
do we have the good deck?
This is the color one.
They have it.
Well, I may have gone a little
printing
crazy
them
with
out,
ordering
they'll
cards because I wanted every permutation. And that leads to getting a deck that's that big. And that's a bad decision.
I'm sure it's something simple. Yeah, we're looking at our life.
Which thing?
Yeah.
Fate spinner happens. Fate spinner happens every so often.
Okay. But there's some other gotta be others.
We have. These are the iterations. So these are the old ones. These are the not too old ones, and these are the newest that no one's tried out yet.
Okay. So it's 2 years of game dev in a bag.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
Let me tell you this. I'm really proud of. Check out that. This isn't game dev. This is just engineering, but this fits great. Very happy with that.
Oh, nice.
So,
Woo!
right,
For the spikes that fit well.
right. You take that deck. I'll take that.
Are they the same
Yeah,
deck?
they're different. I mean, they're the same deck, but they're all different. They need to be mixed up twice.
Yeah.
So, is anyone else stuck on anything? You got lighting somewhat fixed.
I got plenty of places to look at. Yeah.
Nice. What about you're working on tutorials?
I'm just a guy who lives in his mom's attic.
It happens. What have you decided on what engine you're going to use?
Well, I suppose that I should start starting with the one that I will be best for in the end, but it sounds like any of them will be able to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's just a 2D platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone have an opinion on 2D platformer?
Are you planning to only ever develop in 2D?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Godot and Maker, probably your easiest bet. Because Unity you can switch in between, but they're not the best at any of them.
And then Unreal is the best at 3D and it's not the best at 2D.
I'd recommend Godot or GameMaker because most of the content out there is going to be for targeting 2D. Any tutorials you find, in my experience, with those two are targeting 2D. For Unity, you Google character controller and you Google platformer character controller, and you'll get 3D. And so you Google GameMaker platformer character controller. In my experience, it's just dated 2D stuff. So
Yeah, been looking at the Godot more recently. Like that's the one
Yeah.
I kind of fell into because it had a lot of.
the little bit of Godot I've done is incredibly quick for developing 2D stuff. 90% of the stuff you need to build the basics of the 2D game are available out of the box.
Godot has lots of growth potential with it being open source and stuff. And I don't know too much about GameMaker. I'll let him take over.
GameMaker is, you can also get started pretty quickly. Yeah, because it's set up for 2D. It's pretty streamlined. I would say just, if you have time, like just sample a couple of different game engines, see which is the best.
Have fun with that.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
You
who wants to be the first 4 victims of this game?
I'll sign. Yeah, big
Sign up.
Unreal than it would.
Robin, are you raising your hand?
It's tribute.
I couldn't tell if you were scratching or raising your hand.
See, what you should say is you should volunteer, right? The people that volunteer to pick people that could.
Oh, yeah.
Literally 90%.
Who do we want to drag down with us?
Okay.
But you're very streamlined towards that.
All right. So how it works is
Good luck.
this is based on Phil's recommendation. So if you get, it used to be like an onion or like a number. So it would be like in the top right, it would have a number and be like 1. Well, you could only put like a 2 or higher above it. But now it's based on color. So you can only put green on green, purple on purple, and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll call you.
All right. So how it works is if it's 2-player, the board is split in 2 that way. If it's 3-player, we have a different one that gets split out. So this is the 2 and 4-player version. So what happens is every time you do something, you'll pull a card and it'll have what direction you turn it in and how many times. So this one would be like 1, 2, 3. And then it'll spin 3 times once you put it on there. Like a, I know, right?
Just engineer clicky things.
Yeah,
It'd be really nice if they had clicky things.
we're working on clicky things.
Gotta get that click.
Mhm.
I'd say at this point, I think just putting some silicone on the face would be a huge improvement. So
Right.
It doesn't turn
Move.
at the bottom, and turn in.
It's so important for games.
So the count of cards, this is, it needs to be smaller. We're working on that. So we're gonna do the main one, but if you want to pull from,
This is an
You gotta-
unrealistic idea, but it'd be super funny if you had a motor at the bottom of that, and every time the game's over, it just flings all the cards in there.
well, I was gonna do let people pick from which stack they want,
Oh, okay.
since there's so many.
Well, I want to have one in the middle.
Yeah, we do need
I designed this pretty thing to fit a deck of cards, and by God, there will be a deck of cards in it. Even if people can get the cards
So-
out.
This is when we heated it up.
I thought this was a non-heated one.
No,
Oh, it is a heated
yeah, This one
one.
was the heated, so we were to
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna. Oh, yeah, it's got that.
But-
number.
put cards there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
It definitely gives me vibes of the Uno machine when you push the button.
I know, right? So we definitely overpowered every move, and that was intentional to make it not boring. So like this one is draw 2 cards, every other player draws 1 card. And so like it's always every turn something's going on. Someone's always having to do something. All right, so if it's 4-player, you have player 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I need to move over.
Yeah, you just move over. Robin, you want to come out?
Oh, wait.
Really?
Well, no, because I already played
I know.
that like every time.
So we're gonna stand over here. You get 6 cards. Josh, you'll go first.
And just grab them from literally anywhere?
Yeah, you can grab any 6 cards you want,
I want the little box cards.
and then you guys grab 6 cards, whichever piles you
so
want.
Look at me. I'm so good at this game. Can I look at them?
Yeah, you can look at them.
Ooh.
I don't
That's
think we shuffled
seven.
very well.
I shuffled all of them multiple times.
Okay. Is that the reason why I got all the overpowered cards? Got it.
Yeah. And so how it works is you, I'll do a test run real fast with fake cards. So imagine this is green. You can
Make
put
sure
it.
that one doesn't have color. They have colors, not.
I know they have colors. So instead of the numbers, it's gonna have a color. So I'm gonna put that down, and then I would move the thing, but also you do the move, then you move.
Spin.
Do the spin. Move, then spin. And then we'll sit quietly and see if people actually.
Who's going first?
Who goes first?
Yeah, Joe, you're going
Me?
first.
I
Yeah.
go first? Annoying question.
Yeah.
Numbers in stars?
So that's at the end. You'll add all those up. That's how you determine who wins. Whoever has the most
In their.
Do it.
in their quadrant. Okay.
Oh,
And your
It's-
quadrant moves as you place it down.
so we're
Is that the cost of the card?
No.
So bottom left corner, there's no cost anymore. You just have to match colors.
Okay, I have a card that still refers to cost.
Let me
Well,
see.
that shouldn't be there.
You want me to-
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see.
Get rid of it.
Is it a
and draw
number?
Another one. Sorry.
All right.
okay.
No, that's a normal.
No,
card.
the stars are your points that add up at the end.
Okay,
But you're good. Well,
yeah, because it
I'm-
refers to cost.
Yeah, so star is how many points at the end. Bottom right is how far you spin.
Yeah.
Top left is the color, which tells you if you can place it over the other card.
I'm going to play a card. I feel like a pioneer. Each player takes a random card from the player to their left, starting from the caster. So I'm gonna grab one of them. Three little guys. That's what we do. I want this one.
yeah, do it. All right. You want to talk about how the game ends? Which way?
And then we move it 3, right? Is that a thing?
if
Yeah.
it says move 3, then yeah, go 3.
Yeah, it'll have the arrow.
Is there a clock? So
Yeah, whichever
That's
direction.
right.
Yeah, that'll go 3 times.
2, 3.
So what is it? Is it, did we just
I
have
guess
two
I'll
lockdowns or is it
No,
my-
per person.
Yeah.
one lockdown per person?
Which one do you want?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
They
So
are
when-
on there.
I hate all of them.
Yeah.
So there's the first way that the game can end. If someone can't place anything, the game is locked down. The board stays still,
Uh-huh.
and everyone does their final turn. So if you can't do anything and that was your final turn, but if there are 4, there's multiple lockdowns in there. But if everyone places a lockdown, once there's 4, based on the number of people in play. So once 4 lockdowns are in play, then the board locks and everyone finishes out their final turn, but the board doesn't spin on the final turn. So then you're trying to get whatever you can in your zone.
So we shouldn't be trying to play lockdown just yet.
Well, if you think you
If
can
you think you
win,
can win,
you should.
So is the goal big numbers or little numbers?
Big.
big.
Big, cool.
There's also weird stuff like, say I have one across from you. Well, it turns whatever your number is into a negative, and then or whatever ones are next to yours
And do you
are
only play
positive.
in your quadrant?
Yeah, and you only
Yeah.
play in your quadrant. Yeah, so you got
You can steal people's stuff.
yeah. There's all sorts.
Yeah. You
So
do things, I don't know.
good luck, Phil, and
Have you
everyone
guys
else.
printed out a little like rule sheet yet?
So we're on like the 5th draft of the rule sheet. We were trying to make sure that the color thing works. Like, okay, can I put a green on top of green? It seemed because we also did a rock paper scissor edition where if you put a rock down, then you have to put a paper on top of it and see that. Then we had numbers. So we're on like what iteration are we on?
I think this is, I want to say fourth, but this is more than fourth.
Yeah,
It's been the.
It's
someone has
these
to
little
solve
things divided. So yours is this, this, and this because they're divided like this.
Are the shape in which the color's in identifiable for colorblind people?
yes. Wasn't that what we did?
I think no, I think they're all squares because I was lazy. That can very easily be changed.
Yeah.
Also, there's some questionable color
Did you
choices.
spin?
There's 0 on it.
Do I-
It's a chaos.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the
So
chaos.
it's
Okay.
0. So it says for the next round, all spins are doubled. Does that mean the next 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, and then
Yeah.
the next time he plays, it
Mhm.
will spin?
Yeah.
We can only play something in our quadrant, right?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, wait. When do we draw cards?
Whenever it's your turn.
Oh, so
So yeah.
at the beginning of your turn?
Yeah, that's
Should I have drawn one at the beginning of my
You're
turn?
supposed to have what, 5 in your hand at all times?
Oh, never mind. So I did because I took 6.
Well, we were starting with, no, because we started with 6, so you're gonna want to.
We've changed it so many times. We're just trying to see
You
if the
said,
color
yeah,
thing
you
works.
said 6, and I was like, I'm gonna roll with it. I pretty
Yeah.
sure it's 5, but it doesn't matter. So
I think
you should
you
have
play the
6
first
cards.
time,
in
then
your-
you have
I think it was play, and then you draw at the end of your turn. Because why would you not draw at the end of your turn? At the
Yeah.
start of your turn, you just have less time to think, and that makes the game take longer. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
going at the end of your
just
turn.
do it.
also
It's fine.
signals the end of your turn.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be extremely annoying. Oh, wait, it's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be that.
supposed to be 5.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Well, I mean,
If only
Also-
someone wrote this
okay.
out.
give me a Sharpie, we can make a 6.
In November, I was like, oh, let's bring up the new build. Then Thanksgiving stuff happened. Then I was like, oh, well, we're having the Christmas party. I brought everything with us.
Question. So this play second card this turn, do they have to do the spin before they play the next card?
Yeah, you spin second
Spend
card.
and then second card.
So it moves 2 this
So
way.
two,
Oh, 4 because you doubled the spins this round.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're good.
No, I was supposed to bring it in November, then you forgot, you were here in December, then I forgot in January.
Yeah.
And now we're in February.
Yeah.
In hindsight, we could just be like, hey, guys, we're doing a test night, you know, but we have people ask questions.
I don't know.
No. Elliot, that's all.
How do I make my own Fortnite? Oh, no. Well, you need to get a fort first.
Two players who must swap. Oh, God.
I would probably start with Unreal.
I'm sorry, but you and you.
Why? I have like.
Yeah, that you stole from me.
Oh, don't forget to.
Oh, hey, I listen to these cards.
Oh, so, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
You
No, we
know,
both had the same plan, just waiting. for a
Flip
good
out
time.
wood again.
when you grade it.
Oh, it was
put
this
it
one.
in
Yeah.
The bottom.
Oh, I thought it was. Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, so the first
Just
board,
eating, I'm sorry.
the first board was made of wood. How big was that one?
Yeah, what do I
Yeah.
want to do here? Can we put one on top of another?
Yes,
As long
so
as it's
the
the same
colors have to
colors.
match.
Okay.
That's what the colors are for.
So if it's green, it can go on top of green.
I don't want to do that one card.
So for the majority of the game,
All right.
you have no idea where these numbers or where these points are going to end up. You can't really predict.
Yes,
What's that?
there's,
So
I am of the opinion that my favorite way to play it is with 2-3 people because it's got like the wonkiness of this, but you can kind of, like a lot of times you're still trying to control the push and pull.
Question.
Yeah.
She played 2 cards last turn.
That was
So-
on her
One
first
of our
card.
cards says to play a turn.
So you need
Right.
5 cards in your hand.
Oh,
Right.
you
So
draw-
at the end of your turn, you draw until you have.
No, you
Yeah,
just
I
draw
did
one.
sorry.
Okay.
You just
Draw TFO.
No, you draw one because there's specifically cards that are.
Not
Oh.
for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it is just.
You know
Why
what?
some of the cards are like-
I'm gonna go ahead and throw a lockdown down. Kajazam, kajazam. And now all the spins are back to normal, right?
I think so.
Also, the more we look at this, like, it's nowhere near as boring because everyone, it's like, oh, am I going to lose my whole hand? Am I going to have to switch something out? Like, everyone is up on the chopping block.
So like up until there's like 2 or 3 lockdowns on the board, these could end up anywhere because there's so many
Yeah.
cards that are like move it a whole bunch. So you can't.
Some are like that, you're trying to shift it over, like, hey, I want to give you this junk.
But then it only matters if they have it at the end of the entire
Right. Yes.
round, right? So like right now, I couldn't position anything specifically because if I'm like, I'm going to put it over to you, but we still are going to go around like, I don't know, 6 or 7 more times.
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess, about spreading stuff around to make sure that you probably have a good place to land if you need.
Yeah.
I think I still turn it when it says the board cannot be spawned.
Were you on the game?
Yeah.
I think I spin it and then it lost.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
only
I
thing
know.
that makes sense. If it has a spin.
It was a great idea.
On three.
Let's go next round. So, okay, so tell it it's your turn.
They're all.
I think the real solution is only have 2 colors.
We have 3 or 4.
We have 3. That's why there's 6 of every card because you obviously need every card to have a left and a right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's actually.
So left and right, one of each color.
Right, very good.
6
Yeah, it's your turn.
minimum.
That everybody did 2 weeks ago.
Are you thinking one color, two
Next
colors?
round also. Oh,
I
but
feel like
there's no
2
doubt.
colors, which would be
No
4.
Okay, great.
But that's
Which
going to
is still
expire
too
1
much.
turn after him. So for your next turn, or for his next turn, for your next
Oh,
turn,
Global Games, yeah.
it'll move, no, but it won't move until then.
Oh,
I'm not
pretty.
sure exactly
whole new
how this
strategy.
one works, but basically I get to trade a card in my
Yeah.
hand for one from an opponent's hand, so choices up here, and we're gonna do.
Yeah, there's game jams going on all of this. Like, this is fun, but we're trying to get them in.
You can just give me one.
Sure. Specify that.
Uh,
Pay your card without the mailing.
all other players draw a card.
They just might be smaller one.
I'm gonna draw one because it's my turn,
Pretty much any
but not anymore.
You should take
All right,
damage
then
if you
I'm
have one of
messing
those
with
cards.
We need an HP system. That's what we need.
And it's gonna turn double, right?
The idea was originally, I think,
so.
Like,
Because yours expires this turn, but yours doesn't until next turn.
because once you know the rules, it doesn't take longer than 10 minutes to do a round. So the idea is like the first person to win 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I know I'm not gonna place.
2 and 3 are actually more of a magic number. Because like if you're head to head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do the board. You're thinking more on the board. Whereas if
Yeah.
there's 4, you're thinking about what can I do to the other people and stuff like. At least that's my opinion. It's what I've noticed.
I definitely feel like 3 is the
3's the fine.
it's the creamy middle.
Yeah.
Another lockdown on the board.
Hey.
Oh, it's 2 lockdowns.
Let's go.
So after the 4th lockdown is played, we go around one more time. The board doesn't move.
Doesn't move.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but also say you can't do it. You can't put down anything.
Mhm.
Then I don't know if you're going to run into that problem as much as you used to with the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you could end up with like 3 of the same colors on your side, and then it just kind of happens.
And then you're like,
So I think it's more likely to happen just out of dumb luck.
Jason wants to
I think we should do 4 colors, but the
Oh.
size.
So this moves
What?
2 because
Yeah, I think I
Right,
could probably do
expired.
like 4 colors where 2 are sometimes left, 2 are sometimes right, and that's randomized. And it would
Dang
be
it, you're going the wrong
consistent at
way.
least, like, and make sure that
Let's draw some
2 of them are
colors.
always like, 2 of them are always right, but then make that random.
All right,
And then I
go ahead and add
like
them
it'll be
up.
random between.
Oh, no.
Deck printouts.
Should you do a lockdown?
There's 3 on the
We got
board.
3 on the board.
Okay. Yowza.
So someone
Yeah.
can control and be like, I don't want to do.
I'm in a bad situation right now.
It's a good time to play a freeze, if you ask me.
Are you asking for a price?
Wait, you wanted to stay there?
We got 20.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong numbers. Like, you have 2 ones. But that's not true, actually.
I mean, the star numbers are smaller than they used to be.
Did I don't know why.
I don't know. I think they were
I want
probably
your
getting
hand.
cut off at some point.
Who's?
Yours.
No. How'd you only get
That hand
4
is
cards?
traveled.
This hand's trash.
Yeah, dog. Why do you think I gave it to you? How did you have 7 cards?
We drew a card.
There was a true.
Oh, sure. I made you do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, everyone but you is at 7.
But so wait,
Well,
do cards
everyone but him.
do cards in your hand ever do anything bad for you?
Well, sometimes you'll play 2 cards, you don't get to draw another one, or so it'll go down. They don't do bad things for you if they're in your hand. But
So
you
the
can-
card that says everyone else must draw a card, I was thinking Uno rules, like haha, losers. But actually I'm like, congratulations.
No,
Now you have more options.
it's good for them, but it
Right.
also lets you draw a card.
Sure.
It's basically everybody draws an extra.
Jason
card.
spells double. Wait,
Gotcha.
That sounds weird.
is it my turn again?
Oh, I haven't played yet.
Oh, oops. I was about to say.
I'm over here like trying to figure out what in the world to do with
I've
it.
done some people online can more. Oh,
Hang on. Let me. Let's see. I got that. And then
All right, let's see. So I need this moving this.
Sorry,
I need
guys.
it coming this way. So if you could just play something.
I thought it was.
rotating.
So once the board locks down, is it done turning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that 4 lockdowns?
Not yet.
Not yet.
There's 3.
I gotta count and decide what I want to do.
Robin's out for blood, so I'd be careful.
we played Robert, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys play the
Delicious. Especially always plays Marvel.
Oh my gosh.
Direction I want to go.
No.
Is anyone else working on a physical game? Any kind?
Meaning like real world
Yeah.
objects.
Better, I'm just wondering.
You know, Daniel, I must.
It's gonna be with you. No, it's gonna be with you.
Video.
What's up?
Yeah, you got the nice
developers.
Yeah.
I always forget that board games are always welcome.
Yep. Well, like the Unity and Unreal group, I don't want.
Actually, no, this is
They're-
perfect.
No,
I
you
like
guys are
this right
fine.
here.
You gotta.
Yeah, where's our board game?
Dang it, I don't have that
Yeah.
card.
there's always like two people that are like, oh, I wish we would do it. I was like, you can start it. Here's all the stuff. And they're like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I want someone else to.
The mirror?
The free.
There you go.
Oh.
There's lots of board game.
Yeah. No, like devs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's not the one I wanted.
We're
We
getting
got them.
probably really easy to get
double the players. Oh, but we're not counting the players until we hit lockdown.
Right.
Okay.
So
I
there's
feel like in person, people are more likely to say
Yeah.
yes to that kind
Yeah.
of thing. If it's like, give me a half an hour and you get to try a new thing versus a video game when you're online and some random person says, hey, download this
It's a
file.
terrible move. Now I got less.
Oh,
points.
yeah, sure. You won't give me a virus.
you were playing.
But I feel like
The
rules on
jail
this,
first.
like you can figure them out in
Okay.
like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna reverse the order.
No, I think it's not bad once you play it once.
Oh wait, hold on. I gotta draw a card.
Do we turn the board for that?
Not
We don't. There's a 0 on
Zero.
the spinny spin.
Rorschach game.
Like
That
that.
one had the best rule set. And like they figured that one out
Hmm.
the best.
I'm still pissed about that game of Genesis that I played. That was terrible. That game is too big.
So what happens if we can't match a color?
The game is over. right?
You're in
We lock
lockdown.
down, don't we?
So
Oh, wait, I can't
Oh.
match a color.
there you go.
Each player shuffles their hand back into the deck
Oh,
and
dang
then
it.
draws 5.
I didn't want to do it.
You want to take from
You want
the
to
center pile?
Yeah, I guess.
Types of
so.
cards.
No, I was making it
Oh.
because there's clearly far too many cards.
I definitely think that your best bet with where you're at right now would be to take the cards you have and thin out your deck.
But yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Is there's 6 per. I think maybe even just drop it down to or up it to 4 colors, but then make it so that left and right is randomized between those 2 colors for each card, so that there's 2 lefts, 2 rights. And then
cost.
sorry, the square is where the cost used to be. So I'm just calling
Oh,
it
and
the
then
cost.
turn it to two.
No.
Was it-
You got an echo.
Oh,
How does that work?
it doesn't.
Not anymore.
It doesn't.
Is it echo?
So we got to get rid of Echo.
Echo is gone.
Yeah, that's the one I handed you. It's like,
Yeah.
it references cost and that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it had a cost, and I was like, what do
No.
you mean? No, it doesn't have a cost. The card's perfect.
Yeah, my bad.
So if I play the last lockdown,
Yeah, go.
they get to go. But do I go again?
No, you're locking the board down how you want it.
Right.
So you don't get to go again,
Right.
but that's your advantage.
So if I'm like, I'm happy with what I have here, they each have one chance to improve their situation.
Yes.
But then
Right.
after he goes, the game is over.
Yeah.
Let's run this way. Okay.
So if you like your odds,
Sure.
Whose turn is it? In
Mine, sorry.
Okay.
Womp womp.
Don't move the board too much. Let's see what we got going on.
so you can choose how that's set.
So like yours, okay, spoiler. All of these, you can move them around in your spot however
Oh,
you
okay.
want. So if you're like, especially if it's a lockdown, you can be like, I want this.
or if there's like adjacent thing is bad, or make an
Right.
opposite negative.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you gotta pay attention to the other side of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get to play second card this turn.
Okay.
2. That must be to the Discord because I heard it over there. My phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, well,
You have a card that says spin as many times as you want.
Oh,
no.
Should be like 1 in the deck, like
Yeah.
super rare, but like.
1 in 100 decks have this card.
Look at them all.
Right.
Yeah, it's platinum.
3 is out there.
Get a foil lockdown.
Big body swap.
It's my turn, right?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Still going this way, right?
Yeah, and I played miscount, so I can play twice. On the other hand, I have a tiny
For
little
big
hand
fantasy,
now.
just like 5 cards. They're all super overpowered and they're all foil.
Right.
You pick them up, this one says game over. So like, yeah, here you go.
I don't know if I should do
This
this
is
one
2
card.
lockdown.
Each player.
There's already one
Card per player
lockdown.
on
The
the
game
left,
just ends with
starting
24
from the
points.
canister.
No, it goes over, so it goes negative 1. It goes back to 3.
See, I think we should do it like, okay,
I'm trying to figure out which way.
there's certain ones where the person has to be.
I think she takes
and
from
the one
you.
where you
Okay.
pick it.
Hmm.
Yowza. Now it's my turn. I don't know what I want
I
to do.
do remember making the rules.
Oof,
And
hold up.
being so annoyed because
Hold
suddenly when you write the rules, you like discover how exactly the rules.
I mean, I'm
play
gonna be
your
honest,
arguments.
I'm
Yeah.
making
And you
this
can be
thing
like, I specifically want this to be the
How do I
interaction.
do that?
I do not want that to be the interaction.
So if you cover up a
And you have to
lockdown,
fit all that
it
on
doesn't
like
matter anymore.
You know,
a tiny piece of cardboard.
Interesting.
So you have to say it in like, and that's
Place the
how
deal.
cardboard games end up like lawyers.
Yeah.
Dang, that actually
This
changes my
is
map. I
that.
don't like it.
Well, that's the reason, like Magic, there's a whole separate rule book that they don't ship with the base game stuff. That is, this happens before this happens, before this happens.
Okay,
before
just for
this
expedience,
happens, before this
I'm just gonna play
happens.
this. So this is
And
worth
for
twice what the card under it is. I would save it for lockdown, but I
There
want
is
to
precedent from.
just sort of get through this so we can move on
On
to
the
something.
speed they
So it's
resolve.
gonna be two
because the
here.
card doesn't say.
Alright.
One of the ones
I guess
the
it's
deck
my
I played
turn.
the most in high school is called Maze's End.
Okay.
And it was based on a
Like
card
this
called
at all.
Maze's End. You tap 3 gates, search your tap 3 land, tap 3 and tap it. You remove it from the battlefield, search your library.
How
for
much
any
longer
gate,
do we want to
place that
extend this
gate on
game?
the field tapped, and if you have 10 gates of different names, you win.
Okay.
All right, so I get the
Does
reshuffle
Mazes End need
any
to be on
card
the
on the
battlefield for
board
you to
back
win?
into the deck.
Was one of the
Yeah.
first questions came out. No, because the first thing that happens is it was moved
I'm
from your
debating.
hand. It has to be on the field.
With
and
12
activated,
points, I
but
can get out of here.
once it leaves the field, it's safe, as long as it's been activated.
Okay, I know I'm gonna take one for the
If the
team.
10th gate is the one hitting the field, do you win? That one was decided in precedent, and the speed at which it all activates was decided
I'm gonna
in tournament
take-
precedent.
This one, just, sorry.
There are things that someone activated it while it was not their turn, and people went,
And then I need to rotate
Can you?
it.
Can you? You didn't answer the question.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's at
okay.
instant speed, so you can,
Yeah.
at any point.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So.
When I
assume
ran
you
it, I would just set 3 gates in that aside and go, if anything targets me, doomsday. I'd have 9 on the field, and it's like, all right, I know the 10th is in there. It hasn't hit the graveyard yet.
I may just be playing poker. You never know.
So if you cover up a lockdown, it doesn't count anymore.
No. But it does, once you're in the lockdown state, you are.
Uh-oh.
We got 4
state.
lockdowns?
So now we're in a lockdown number
So now you're in that state, you can't get out of that state. But if there were
So
like
we turn
3
the
and
board
then
for that
there's 2.
lockdown.
Just one.
Yep.
I dropped it.
Do we turn it for that lockdown?
No, lockdown. Once the fourth one's played.
Do you turn it for the 4th one?
No.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're locking the board how you want it, and then everyone's.
Oh, I don't like it the way it is.
Even
Well, hold
better.
on, let me see. 10.
I think I might tie. for-
Yeah,
Oh,
I
those are
was trying to
split
get
now.
rid of some of the
12,
hairs.
24.
I think I'll probably be at some.
But so someone's like,
Hey,
you should
this
use
one-
You and I are
that.
gonna say, that's
So
for
you
stuff.
gun and then I bent it so that.
But we all
Question.
still have 1 turn.
Right, so the 3 of us can each go once more.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, I just need to keep it in a less humid environment.
Yeah, this isn't gonna do me any
just-
good.
Yeah, I
No,
guess.
it's gonna hurt me.
If only you had purple on my side.
Wire cutters.
Okay,
I've used
once the
the
board's been
spatula
locked down, if you
that
cover a
before to kind
lockdown,
of sand it down basically, but like
It's already locked
in
down.
a weird sideways.
Makes sense,
What's
though.
done is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't unlock down. Once you're in that state, you're there.
I know the first house rule.
Now,
I've
you
played
can,
with
you can
friends.
put something over it if you have a better card.
I was gonna say,
But it's not unlocking.
It's
down.
not
You're
unlocked.
still
Yeah,
unlocked.
that's-
You're in the best position to win.
I am, that's the problem.
Why?
Do I have to?
Sorry, I
play?
was like sick.
Oh, I see, because you can only bring yourself
It's not
down.
magnetics, you don't want magnets here.
Please have a green or an orange.
Oh, I only have orange.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yowza.
That is perfect.
Oof. I think my bet is on him. No, just kidding. Maybe.
When it says target, does that mean the one it's played on?
Yeah.
That means you get to pick one.
Oh. My bet would be on him to win because he seems excited right now, which means he can probably sub out one of his for 12. But it's probably going to put him at a flat 30.
And I'm gonna target this one.
What are you doing to it? Reshuffling it?
Yep, reshuffle
Oh,
the target
there's,
slot.
there's only one. Does that mean reshuffle the cards that are on the slot?
Yeah, all the cards that are in the slot.
Oh
so
no,
all
there's only one
of
card in
them.
the slot.
No, no, or
Reshuffle them to the deck or to the slot?
everybody's looking at me. I think it was supposed to be.
I was assuming back to
I
the
assume
deck.
it was supposed to be the deck.
So this slot is now empty.
Yeah.
Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it just said a shuffle target slot and return it.
What was that card called?
A demolition,
Yeah, definitely.
which was the other one that implied it was going to the deck.
From the name, definitely into the deck.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I think that could be clarified. As a
Yep.
play tester, it's my right to say this.
I think they're taking notes.
And now that you have taken my 12-point lockdown off my square, I'll put a number right there.
I think you won this.
All you have to do is bump your score up by.
Depends what's under double.
I'm bumping it down. It's
Oh no!
all the rest.
Yay!
Switch
I win
was
by
in your
force.
zone.
It doesn't matter where I'm switching.
So that's a big old 26 points
Yeah.
for ya boy.
Why are there such big numbers?
Oh wait, you were the one that did the lockdown.
Right. So that's the rounds over again.
Okay, so I got 12, 20.
26.
I got 20 as well.
Okay.
So we get to roll a dice and we get to add that to our numbers.
Right, yeah.
Well, if you roll a 20, you actually
We
get
had-
a double
we had
damage. So
I like it. No, I think you won.
No, I think he's at
26.
26.
Okay, yeah.
Because we did have.
What,
I forget what the-
what were they tied? Was it like amount of cards or something? I don't remember what it was.
Then it gets crazy. So then
Uh-oh.
you pull the whole stacks off, then you count the entire stack.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I'm curious to see how it plays when covering up a lockdown unlocks it,
Yeah.
because I think for the push and pull aspect of it, being able to freeze it and go, no, I'm not gonna get stuck with this.
Yeah.
I think that could be definitely interesting, depending on how many lockdowns there are and how they.
So what is this?
But if you have 26, you won.
So it's,
Oh, so for
it's-
if there's a
yeah,
tie.
If there's a tie
Yeah,
at
it's
the
a
end,
tie
that's how you
break.
break the tie.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. How would double up work in a tie? I guess it would keep the
it
value
was
of the
worth
card that
12,
was-
yeah.
What would you have?
That's a good question.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot more.
Okay.
4, 8, 12, 18, 20,
There he is.
30.
Yowza.
Okay.
That's 22.
So did the color system, did you have any issues with the colors?
I don't think so. It felt good as a game mechanic in that it pissed me off sometimes, but it was very easy to understand. I think that's a great mechanic.
So you knew like, hey, I can put it here, I can't put it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 felt like a really good number playing.
Are you talking about the 4-player?
Well, with having the 3 sections available to you,
Mhm.
having 3 colors, it was fairly easy to go, okay, I can keep my sections kind of available by keeping my colors spaced out. And it keeps it from getting too meshed in. It may be interesting to see ones that say you can play this card on any cards of any color.
A little wild.
Like they have a color, but can be played on cards of any color, or any color can be played on this card.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good right now.
Um,
Replace Echo.
Any other, did you guys have any notes or thoughts?
Is there any way to change colors?
No.
That's-
So you lay down a green, it's a green for the rest of the game.
I mean, the
Yeah.
wild, or you could demolish it, I
Um,
guess.
yeah.
But
with
wild's a
demolish,
suggestion.
demolish is good. Clarifying target would be nice,
Mhm.
because with this, it
Mhm.
definitely feels like you're targeting where you're playing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That might just be target other slot might be a good way to word it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I had a card that said target in my hand, and I just naturally assumed it meant where I put it. That's where it happens.
Yeah. What was the most confusing thing? You guys-
Just identifying specific names, it's like,
So like what was like an example?
that's a good question because I have a very short memory. It's like whenever I had to ask a question, it's more like forgot what I actually asked. It's like clarification on certain words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Needs to be more. So is it clarification in the words or
Like the
our
action.
directions?
Like the action of what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
This might just be a me thing, but I found myself sort of second guessing what round meant.
Okay.
Like, because it could mean one person's turn, probably not. Round as in 4 people, or round as in like we're supposed to play till someone wins 3 rounds, right? Or play 3 rounds, or like best of 3 rounds.
yeah.
And also, like, is that inclusive of me or not? So if I play a card that says for the next round spins are doubled,
Mhm.
does that include me? And if it doesn't, then it includes me next time, probably.
Yeah.
So sort of knowing where the inclusive end of that was. That was the
Okay.
thing.
That makes sense.
That feels like something that I should specify in the rule book,
Mm.
not
Yeah.
like,
Yes, because the cards are-
like in the
yeah.
more specific rules in the rule book, I guess, not this is the vibe of the game.
Right.
But I mostly just, write that down, but yeah.
Rewrite the rule book.
Oh yeah. we're
That,
not even-
that rule book's pretty intricate, let me tell you.
Did anyone not have fun, or do you guys like Was there?
You're allowed to not have fun.
Yeah, well,
I won't be offended.
I think it was good.
Base, it was.
No, we need that.
I mean, besides the fact that I got a place to be, that's the reason why I was like questioning whether or not I wanted to extend the game, because I could have removed one of the lockdowns, and I was like,
Yeah.
do I extend the game and then not make it to where I'm planning on going, or it's
Because I do like the idea of being able to remove the lockdowns because of I'm right there. Oh, I've got you.
Yeah.
It's set. I've won. And being able to go, nope, we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like an alternative form of play versus anything else. And I think with the way it's built as is, I'd be curious to see it played out, but I think it would play out no problem.
Yeah.
Is there a way to be able to add better numbers for different cards? Because if you have your lockdowns as some of the highest, then it's like most people are those are going to be the cards that end up sticking around, but then people are going to remove them, and then you're dealing with like 2, 3s, and whatever. So
Yeah. I do think part of the thing with the lockdown too is because everybody else gets to play after you, it's actually a bad card if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
And so for that like commitment of this does nothing other than maybe stop the game. That was the thought process for the reward.
How many lockdowns are inside it?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I want to say there's 6 versions of lockdown.
Yeah.
So for that gigantic thing, there's 36.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to make them stand out more?
Yeah, I thought
The
that would be-
lockdown specifically.
Okay.
because they're special super cards.
The other thing
Yeah.
I would think is if you're looking to kind of curate play, you could do like card games like Exploding Kittens do, where you shuffle them in based on how many players you have.
Oh, at the beginning.
Or
Yeah.
like after you've already dealt out hands kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Well, yeah, because the reason we did it based on the number of
Players.
the players per thing.
Mhm.
Is so we knew like, okay, if you're playing with 3 people, it's 3 lockdowns. If it's 4, it's this. And then if you had it, just do it.
And being able to, I was going to say, being able to curate the deck to that many people and knowing that, all right, this enough will be enough cards, especially with the stack of cards provided. That would be the other thing I would think.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
If you're gonna throw one of the cards out, you're like, this card shouldn't be in there.
Don't count Echo.
Okay, so you got Echo. Anyone else? Echo. Did any point did you feel powerless or powerful playing?
I had definitely moments of both at the end where I had only orange cards and my choices are like things that are only going to affect what's already passed. After the lockdowns happened, there's not a whole lot that feels like I could do anything at that moment.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it felt like it was just going to be up to chance in the end, especially at the beginning, because all 4 of us moved the board every turn. There was no way I could think of, except for just sort of spread points around as much as possible to give myself, maybe when the time comes, if I happen to have the right card, I can lock something in where I need it. There was the card, the double up. I was like, when I got it, I was like, oh, I should keep this in my hand because when someone locks it down, that might be my only way to increase the points. But aside from like a couple things like that, I didn't know. It's not like a game with like a game engine where you're like, oh, I'm going to do this strategy. I'm going to try to win this way. I didn't feel powerless. Like I knew that I could affect things that I could make. They're not going to like it if I make them switch hands. That's going to be fun. But in terms of understanding what my strategy is, what my 1, 2, 3 is, and how I'm going to win this game, it felt like it was largely up to chances. And then when she locks it down, you can kind of prepare for that. Like if you happen to have drawn a good card that like a double up or something like that, you can like, I'm going to hang on to this until they lock it down. But then someone can make me switch hands at any point. So chancy, I think is what I'm saying. There's a huge element of chance in it.
Did you feel more or less chance if you were playing Uno, like comparing it to Uno?
That's really interesting. I feel less chance in Uno.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why I feel that way.
Okay.
I think in Uno, I feel like maybe I have more different, I can play by the color or I can play by the number. And it's up to me to decide, do I want to keep more colors? Do I want to keep more numbers? Like whether or not it's more or less up to chance.
Is it because you lose the card? You're like, I know I only have one.
Yeah, because like I can see where I'm going and like, okay, well, if I play this one, maybe that's going to hurt me down the road. But like, I feel like I have less of an idea of what's going to hurt me, what's going to help me down the road.
Okay.
I have a question for the testers. When after your first couple of turns,
Did you feel like you preferred the cards you played down, or did you want the deck to just keep rotating it, regardless of what other players had? Like, did you feel more connection to the spaces you started with? I guess is a good question.
When I first started, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna put this here and hope it actually does something good. And then towards the end of the game, I started understanding, okay, so this is the reason why I want to do this. And it's like, since there's so much information on every single one of your cards, it's like processing time it takes to be able to figure out, okay, what sort of effects are currently happening versus what I got in my hands. It's like, how is that going to affect the board? And it's like, it got a little bit complicated. It's the best way to put it. But no, I didn't really find like a deep connection with the cards that I have per se.
Yeah, I was just curious if it's going to turn in more of a tug of war where you guys keep going back and forth, even though you're up to chance cards, or if it was going to be like, oh, I want Robin's card, might as well rotate the board 8 spaces in my favor, you know?
So do you think that blank cards would have helped make the cards that do things seem more interesting? And then also make the game feel more stable.
Blank cards?
Yeah, just a
Oh,
card
yeah,
that just
yeah.
spins the no effects, just is there.
Maybe like a medium amount of points.
Yeah,
Maybe
medium amount of
lockdown,
points,
but-
maybe a.
Are you actually having to place it, or are you just putting a card and being like, okay, I'm just spinning the deck?
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
still gotta
you
put it on
place
top.
it would just be like a card that gives you points.
Yeah,
spins
any of
it, but
these
doesn't
just be
do
a score and a
anything.
turn. but nothing
Yeah.
else.
Just no
Maybe,
effect.
maybe even a blank card that all it does is spin as its main purpose.
Yeah.
Like spin 6 or something crazy.
Honestly, having more ways to rotate the board without consequences would have been nice. For me, I just kind of started laying the cards out that I had in front of me, kind of in the ones I was most excited to have in hand. Eyesore, something mirror, line mirror, black mirror, something like that.
Black and white.
No,
When you say consequence, what do you mean? Like you want to
So
press it and like not have to spin it, or?
spinning's fine. Things like open source, once we got locked down, drawing 2 cards is great, but if that's the only thing I'm doing, getting everyone else drawing is consequential. It becomes an issue. Things like reset feels great, but when I've got a lockdown in my hand or a double up in my hand that I'm trying to hold on to, everyone shuffling their cards away becomes, okay, no, I don't want to do that. And there was a lot of, that'd be great, but it's going to hurt the other strategy I'm trying to build.
What else could it be? Yeah, it's not linear thinking.
Wait,
I think I get
Was
what they're
this
all
shit
going
off?
at.
Hmm?
See, because when you first start the game, you pick up 6 cards. Each of these 6 cards have
don't know.
4 different effects,
because it's
and that's a lot.
because those
Thinking
must
about
be
it, like
talking
for a
to each
new
other.
player, like even in Magic the
Right.
Gathering, like you have the attack and defense, and sometimes you have an effect, and then you have a mana cost. So that's sometimes 4, but every single one of these has 4 different things to focus on.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
maybe
I think,
cut it down to like an average of 3.
Yeah.
and cards that just turn the disc or turn the disc and change the color, or that have more effect on the slot they're played in than your hand or your opponent's hands. I think really it's the unintended effects on my hand and my opponent's hands is what I mean by consequences. The turning the board is an issue because a lot of times what I was looking for was, okay, there's 36 points over here that I want in my quadrant.
Right, yeah.
I can move it 3, but I'm gonna have to shuffle. Everyone shuffles their hands, and I've got these other cards that I want those in my quadrant before I can lock down and double it. Well, that's not gonna do me any good.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So I have a question. So like the cards that say adjacent tiles are doubled, but then say that card is here and then over here it says adjacent tiles are subtracted. Does it affect both of us or?
Wait, so it would be like opposite one is subtracted?
Adjacent
Yeah.
means next.
Because
to.
adjacent is just, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you get.
Well, there used to be one that went across.
That was the
Yeah, I
other
had that
one.
one for that.
Mirror one.
But
yeah.
that one just makes it negative, and so if
So, like,
mirror
if
was
you have an
opposite to
adjacent-
near.
So like you
then
have
they
the
would both-
adjacent and that doubled it, and then you used a mirror, then you're.
Yeah, but
yeah,
well, no, because the one that gives the adjacent ones would be negative, but it would still make the ones next to it positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just now realized that I had the doubles the adjacent ones on my
Next
side,
to
so I didn't have 26. I actually had 50 points.
Right.
Just for the record.
So yeah, you put double up on top of the lockdown for 24 points, put a magnification next to it, bump it up to 48, and then a mirror across from it and make it negative 48. And now you've got a problem.
Yeah, that's why I like
Yeah,
the idea of making
yeah.
it negative, because I feel like the ability to screw people over in the lockdowns is fun.
Why does magnification have its own score value? Usually those type of cards have no score value on themselves.
It's very low. It's the lowest value. I
Yeah,
think.
it's very low. But like, if you wanted to remove one element, it could
Yeah.
just be that star for that card.
Honestly, it's probably because when I made the Python script, it assumes everything has a score value, and I don't want to have to change that.
No, yeah, I don't.
Uh,
I can see that.
You just put a 0 in for this question.
Yes, yeah, no, I definitely can, and that's not hard.
Yeah, it still has zero.
Then you have -0. It'd be very confusing.
To break things. Yeah, and that's why there are a number of issues. I don't know if you got the cutoff card. That's why, is because I used a script to make it, and I didn't check all of them.
Well, for the longest time, like these are what we went and we're like, all right, let's print these out so we can go test them. We had the actual paper printer and we do cardstock and be like, all right, do a new batch. And so like we had like 30 of those. Felt like
I did think I made it so that the text sized dynamically, but I guess not.
I could have sworn you did. I just don't think it.
Maybe I just didn't make it into this batch. So I was like,
Yeah.
hey, I did this. Too bad I ordered the cards 2 weeks ago. Okay, so blank cards. We probably should do like another actual session and figure out like how many things we want.
Right. What about adding a
No,
chance thing on here?
What do you mean, a chance?
Like in Monopoly where you got a question mark on there? And then you can draw from a special pile.
Oh, special. I
Yeah,
mean,
what
what
if the default spaces actually had values? Like if one
You
of the-
shuffle something upside down.
No, like the squares on the cube, they could have like.
Oh, so you're saying like, let's say we set it up. Oh, geez, it would have to be or it wouldn't have to be, but I would in my head it's different for each like amount of players.
You can have some default cards.
Where I go like
And
one.
shuffle them.
What am I doing?
Or
We're
just
gonna go,
consider
like-
each empty square as a -1.
Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or something like
So
that.
maybe there'd be a 12 in there that everybody wants to get, but nobody wants to place on.
Yeah,
Or it can involve in some strategy where like, oh, okay, I want that on my side because I have a demolition card in my hand. And right as soon as they play their thing, I drop my demolition on my own card. And so I get my empty 24 value space.
right.
Could you add a negate card that negates points and you could put it anywhere on the board?
I mean, it
You're
kind of exists, right?
Yeah,
That's the
places a
mirror.
card anywhere, 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually.
Wild
would be
card.
great.
I mean,
Yeah, 0
yeah.
is good.
I thought I had one, to be honest.
We probably did at some point.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of iterations.
everything's mixed together.
I'd
Also,
say some,
it's
I'd say blank cards was the.
Yeah, blank cards that makes sense because somebody mentioned Exploding Kittens, and I was like, that has lots of blank cards. That probably helps because that game has more
I feel like
mechanics. than-
25% of the deck maybe should just be
Yeah.
blank turn.
That might actually give you a bit more feeling of agency because it's moving every turn.
Right.
Something is happening every turn. It's like, it doesn't matter what I do now. If it's 4 turns from now, who knows what's going to happen.
I don't want to take all this home, so who wants candy? You got
I should eat this. I want candy.
anyone else wants?
Robin loves candy.
Robin wants one.
Pete.
We're just gonna
Here. Just throw it out and throw it.
doing. Hang on. Coming your way. Oh, there's more over there.
All right, I gotta get going.
All right, so we got 15 minutes left. Who is like, oh man, I need help, but I haven't said anything this whole time because I'm nervous. Are you guys all good? What do you got?
Anyone interested in a long-term play testing arrangement? Because
Let
I
it go.
really need a play tester for more than like, an hour or two. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get to the later stages. That's okay. I wasn't picking on you. Yeah, I understand everyone's busy.
I will commit a Saturday and just try. I'll speed run on a Saturday.
Okay.
Are you? Do I need to be like in the room with you,
No.
or I just need to play it?
Like, yeah, I mean, like having, like being able to like watch you play over your shoulder would be nice, but like bare minimum is just, I need another set of eyes to help me find bugs and tighten it up and stuff like that.
So it's bug hunting or
Yeah.
trying to do the golden path and like see if I can actually beat it.
Both.
Okay.
Probably golden path first and then bug
Get to
hunting
the
second.
game and then.
Yeah.
What's the game?
It is an RPG about social anxiety where you are having imaginary battles with people that you're talking to, so it's conversation battles. The main character sees them as monsters because he's afraid of talking to people. So you have to get over that initial fear by going through the battle and defeating the monster.
It's really fun. And you have a super fan. We went to
Oh, yeah.
a PopCon. She came up and she was like, "Is that game out yet?" And like,
Yeah, apparently she saw me demo it 6 years ago.
wow. Yeah, she was 12 and she's now 18. So we were like, "We'll give you a free copy." Like, you're too much of a super fan.
Did you get in touch with her?
She has not messaged or anything. So
Wow.
She might miss out.
no, 'cause she'll reach out, especially when the game launches.
She'll be at another con.
Yeah, she seems like she goes to all of them. Yeah, we did Tulsa PopCon. The goal is if anyone's releasing something, we will have an event like we're trying to do every quarter. The big one is Tokyo and Tulsa and SuiterCon. We're trying to get into those, and if we do, we'll get a booth and then show off local game dev games, and then try and get people to be like, "Oh, you guys make games? Come over here." It's more of like an outreach thing. It feels like I grew up around like a bunch of pastors and stuff, so I'm always like, I gotta speak about game dev and like that's what it feels like. And I'm like, that's not what I'm going for. So, anyways, I'm trying to build a cult instead, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Have you tried game dev?
Yeah,
You can be more.
yeah.
Going back to the playtesting thing really quick, I am willing to pay whoever for their time. if
What?
That's an issue.
As soon as all the freebies are gone, then you're like,
Well, that includes people who already.
yeah.
I can't commit like regular time, but I'd be happy to try it.
Okay. Are you on the Discord?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Chuckles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was talking to you earlier. Yeah, I'll send you an invite to the MonCon Discord. I'll give you a build.
Yeah, everyone having different names on there, because you're Philip on there.
I'm Ogle-Philip.
Ogle, that's what I was like.
I keep my Discord name on there, so if you run across me in other Discords, you know who I am, but
Yeah.
I put my real name on anything I put my face in front of.
But David is Green Cyber Ninja or David or Dave. And I was like, well,
And
which
there's
one?
also there's just
Yeah, just
there's-
Dave.
Just Dave is fine, yeah.
Which is weird because in one of the other groups, his wife is Elizabeth, and it was just Elizabeth is fine, or just Beth is fine, or just Beth, something on those lines. And I was like, "Is this your wife? Like, is she in the other group?" And he was like, "No, but that's really weird." Like, it matches.
You have an updated version of MonCon, Cindy?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll put it in the Discord. Yeah, I haven't been good about updating.
I feel it's best if you're gonna do it Twitch style, where you're recording your gameplay but have your face in there, and then you can actually see if the person's interested or like having fun or laughing, things like that. If you're able to do that.
I was thinking, it was like, I don't think I've ever played a video game even when I enjoyed myself and like looked like I'm enjoying
I know.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, just like an hour, just that.
Valve did it with Portal, and they were like, "Okay, what did you think of the jokes?" And like, "Oh, this is the funniest game I ever played." And they're like, "But you didn't laugh." It was like, "I didn't." Like, okay.
So I expelled air from my nostrils.
Yeah.
I think when I heard they had like better examples with people next to each other than individual players.
That makes sense.
Brings it up. Mine is if I'm using a controller, depending on like, especially the Batman games. I mean, they're not that complex, but you're like trying to do stuff. My hands will get really hot and start sweating, and I need to cool them off. So I'm playing the game, and I'm like, But I'm also like in the moment, so I'm like, yeah, I'm getting pumped up. But my sister came in and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, trying to beat it. And then I was like, "This looks ridiculous."
I've flipped out climbing chalk for Rocket League before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's not surprising.
yeah, it works. It's really good for keeping your hands dry. It's probably not good for your controller.
So, but with how you hold controllers, majority of the time, like I can't do it because I don't want to make. I am literally in a chair and I'm playing it like this because I need like my arms out. So like, and I noticed it's because I was used to the Wii, I would play like this, and then the Switch I can play like this. So when I'm with the controller, I'm like, this is where I feel comfortable. And I'm so like, I'm a really, and then you do the hook thing, don't you?
No, I only claw when I have to.
Claw.
Yeah.
Claw?
I only claw when I need to.
I can stop anytime, I
Like,
swear.
I can do it, but I don't do it for most. When you have like you have smashes where I picked
Where
it
you
up.
claw? Yeah.
So yeah, spot on.
Yeah, I got one.
It's probably. I wonder how bad it is for your fingers because I know it's not good to like.
I don't think it's that bad.
So you hold it like this, and then this is where this is like where the face buttons are. And so you use your pointer to press the buttons on the top, and that way you can press use the joystick at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I've only seen that in the Smash communities because you're basically using it like a fighting fight stick, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, so you get more precise inputs.
I remember there was a movie. I want to say Jim Carrey. He's got a Game Boy.
Turning this off. Good seeing you all. Good night.
Playing it with like his ring fingers.
Oh, that's cursed.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was.